Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6, the season finale, was trash. It was marketed as one season, but surely there's going to be a season 2, and it's going to destroy canon even more than the first season. A lot of people were simping for Episode 5. I destroyed it in my last review, and of course, many are simping for Episode 6. This series is trash. I can understand where some people are coming from. Who doesn't want to watch Vader and Obi-Wan go at it? Have a whole show based on a meetup that George Lucas never intended. We'd all love to see it. But the problem is, you have something called canon, and a duel like this is best suited for a fan film, not an official series. And if you're going to make it an official series, making it part of canon, your fucking writers need to respect the canon. They need to know what they can bend and what they can't break. Unfortunately, for Disney shills and the whiny Disney sympathizers, this show did not respect canon. This was a Disney fake fan film, and I'm going to rip apart the season finale of this trash. Immediately, Reva is on Tatooine. We have no explanation on why she's alive. We have no explanation on how she survived the same stabbing as a kid. But we gotta move the plot along. And she's not 100%. She's hurting. What is she doing on Tatooine? They never say. Darth Maul, she heard Bail on his message. But it's not clear what he meant. If he's found you, he's heard of the children. I'll head to Tatooine. Owen, help the boy. All she knows is Owen's kid is important, and he might have something to do with Vader. Bail Organa is not clear about that. And why does she want to kill Luke Skywalker? She wants to hurt Vader. How is this hurting Vader? She must know it's his kid, but how does she know this with limited information? And if it is true, why does she think this will emotionally affect Vader? She's so convinced she's going to fuck over Vader that she's willing to murder a 10-year-old Luke Skywalker. I don't like Reva, I don't like the show, but you know what? You fucking wasted your plotline for season 2 right here. You could have given her time to heal up, look into the situation, and maybe come across Kenobi in the early part of season 2. We could have focused more on the Vader and Kenobi duel, but no, we needed to see Reva attempt murder. Kenobi and friends didn't escape so easily. The Empire is right behind them. Ice Cube again proves to be useless. He can't get the door open. He can't fix the hyperdrive. Maybe he's a rat working for the Empire. Who knows? Who cares? The show is terrible. Obi-Wan decides it's best to sacrifice himself and face Vader. Hopefully the Empire will completely leave Leia and his friends alone, and because of plot armor, it worked! I know Vader is a hard-on for Jake Kenobi, but there's no reason that the Empire can't accomplish both tasks, following Kenobi and sending people to follow the transport. But who am I to nitpick? The shills and Disney sympathizers love this show. The Grand Inquisitor has some balls and even says to Vader that Kenobi is not as important as the others. I like seeing these characters together. In a series where we only care about Vader and Obi-Wan and have limited time for other characters, we didn't need someone like Reva. We had the Grand Inquisitor. Why not give him more screen time? Star Wars explains new favorite characters in this episode again.
I personally love Haja to death, mostly in that second episode, but I enjoyed his small arc and what he represented for Kenobi's returning ability to trust.
He is close to matching screen time with Vader for this series. Owen and Beru are packing at the farm, and Disney Star Wars delivers again with a strong whammon. Beru is bossing around Owen. I had no idea she was such a strong whammon.
Beru! She's coming!
A major criticism I have of the whole series is there was very little dialogue between Vader and Obi-Wan. You'd think they'd have a lot to say to each other. The writing team couldn't come up with anything. Very disappointing. They had a long talk in Revenge of the Sith before they battled. I would have liked to see some fucking emotion.
Anakin, come back to the light! You're not the boy I trained! Anakin, come to your senses! It's not too late!
Something! Maybe 4 lines they exchanged. Garbage show. In my previous reviews, I've referred to Vader as Disney Vader. I think you can also call him Emo Vader, because he's an emotional little bitch. The first thing he says to Obi-Wan, "Have you come to destroy me?" Like he's a hashtag fake victim. Then Obi-Wan repeats the line from Revenge of the Sith.
I will do what I must.
Sounding a lot like Ivan Drago from Rocky IV.
I must break you. I will do what I must.
And it sounded forced as hell. I didn't buy it. I'm not against the line of dialogue, but we could have had more dialogue to set this up. But no, we needed more screen time for Reva. The whole series has built up to this one duel. The first one was a little teaser, a little Jake Kenobi roast. This is what we are tuning in to see, and it wasn't good. Firstly, the power scaling with them doesn't make any sense. Vader was already better than Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith. Kenobi had to use the surroundings of Mustafar to defeat Anakin. And in the past 10 years, Vader has been putting in the work to better himself. He's a lot more powerful than he was in Revenge of the Sith. Look what he did with that transport in the last episode. Jake Kenobi has been sitting on his ass for the last 10 years, not doing shit. There is no chance in hell he's on the level of Vader. Look how Vader fucking owned Obi-Wan in the last duel. Now, I think it's bullshit, but the show did establish Kenobi was growing stronger and getting back to previous levels. But again, Vader is on a whole new level, a different league than where he was in Revenge of the Sith. This should be an easy win for Vader. So the first part of the duel, it's okay. Again, Vader should have had him cut down pretty easily. Ultimately, he showcased his power in the Force like he did in Episode 5 and buried Obi-Wan under the rocks. While all this is going on, we're coming back to Reva on Tatooine and no one cares. Hashtag sell Star Wars. And Reva is such a fucking idiot. Nothing against Owen and Beru, but Reva shouldn't be having problems taking care of them. Maybe go to a goddamn hospital. Maybe see a therapist. You're fucking out of your mind. Your whole fucking revenge plan didn't make any sense. Spent 10 years fingering yourself, moving up the ladder, waiting for the opportunity to kill Vader. We saw how that played out in the last episode. Just take your fucking L. No one wanted a new Disney diversity hire in this show anyways. So Vader thinks it's over, but Obi-Wan bursts through the rocks, lifting rocks, just like Rey. I highly doubt they did that deliberately. He aggressively attacks Vader. Then Obi-Wan Kenobi transforms into Gary Kenobi. And he bodies Vader. This makes zero sense. Vader looked like such a bitch. Back to Emo Vader. In Episode 3, Kenobi asks,
What have you become?
Vader responds, "What you made me," playing the fake victim there, blaming it on Obi-Wan. Here in Episode 6, Vader says he killed Anakin. So Vader is an emotional wreck, blames Obi-Wan, blames himself, back and forth. They said Vader was going to be conflicted a bit, but I didn't expect Emo Vader. And don't get me started how he was afraid of fire and choked in the first fight. I've heard people say, well, Vader hasn't developed into the original trilogy Vader yet. The dude has had 10 years. Surely by now he is fully Vader. I'd accept some moments of weakness around his old master, but not this. It doesn't take 20 years to fully embrace the dark side. It doesn't take 20 years and getting your ass kicked again, completely embarrassed. Everyone at the office tomorrow is going to know Jake Kenobi, who is now Gary Kenobi, kicked your fucking stupid emo ass. What's he going to tell the Grand Inquisitor? How can he spin this?
I told you we should have stayed on course. Losing to Kenobi is like an itch. You have the tools to beat him, but you cannot help yourself and have to scratch that itch.
And I know it's not the Jedi way, but what's Kenobi doing? Finish the job! I don't care if it hurts your feelings. You know how many people Vader has killed? How many he's going to kill? The Obi-Wan Kenobi show was marketed as the rematch of the century. It had the potential to be on the level of Revenge of the Sith. It didn't come close. This duel was a huge mismatch on paper. There was little dialogue at the beginning to build this up. The music was not epic, and Obi-Wan earned the victory through a Gary Stu transformation. And it was a complete waste of Hayden Christensen. They could have done so much more more in this series. We go back to Reva for like the 5th fucking time. Reva has Luke and she can't go through with it. I guess she's finally realized that she has no real motive to kill Luke Skywalker. Really no good reason. I know this is Star Wars, we got hyperspace, but Jesus H. Lucas, Obi-Wan gets to Tatooine very quickly, literally flew all the way across the galaxy to get there right as Reva brings Luke back to Owen. Reva got there incredibly quick too. Makes 0 sense. Reva drops her lightsaber in the desert and no one cares. Then Vader is talking with the Emperor. Wow, another great character we all love is shown one time in this series at the very end. Instead of Reva, instead of Tala, instead of Star Wars Explains new favorite character, we could have had more Emperor Palpatine. But no, it's not about what you want to see, it's about what Disney wants. And Disney wants to push their bullshit characters. Obi-Wan ditches Luke Skywalker again to reunite with Leia and lets her know that he Gary Stewed Vader's ass. And he says to her, don't tell anyone about our adventure, and surprisingly, this fixes canon for a lot of people. I don't know why it does. I thought about it, maybe she was being deliberately discreet on her message with R2, but there's nothing really to hide in that message. You're already going to be taken captive by the Empire, and most importantly, the designs for the Death Star was an R2-D2. So if they find R2, everything is fucked anyways. So there is no reason to be so formal in her message to Obi-Wan. Why is she calling him General Kenobi? She could have gave him a more personal message. She didn't need to brief him on Bail Organa. She could have revealed her whole life story on that message, and it wouldn't have jeopardized anything. Canon is still fucked, but Vader and Kenobi swung lightsabers at each other. Wow, neato! It ruins canon, but I don't care. It's just a space movie that pushes identity politics run by a company that caters to psychos more than actual fans of George Lucas Star Wars. We're at the end, Kenobi is back, he's not bearing his lightsaber anymore, so now he'll be ready for any kind of trouble that comes Luke's way. I don't understand why we needed an arc from Jake Kenobi to Obi-Wan Kenobi to Gary Kenobi. He could have just been Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what we all wanted to see. We knew he was a little out of practice, but still staying mentally sharp. It would have been more believable for him to take Vader had he actually been progressing in his abilities. The show ends and Gary Kenobi can now magically see Qui-Gon as a Force ghost. He has done 0 training in the last 10 years to achieve this, and here's Qui-Gon. It's so simple. Also, Qui-Gon's appearance as a Force ghost is breaking canon established by George Lucas and the Clone Wars show. Qui-Gon's training was incomplete. He could only manifest his voice. Now, we all love Qui-Gon. I think we could look the other way on that if it's just one thing. But they didn't bother to explain it at all, and it's not just one thing. It's the whole show! The whole show constantly destroys canon! Given we're getting Force Ghost Qui-Gon, why wasn't he just there from the beginning? Surely it wouldn't take the real Obi-Wan Kenobi 10 years to learn how to communicate with Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon would have been a lot more entertaining to see than Reva! Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6, the season finale, was trash. This season was garbage. Season 2 will be garbage. Story-wise, it completely missed. The characters we loved, the arcs we wanted to see were neglected in favor of Disney bullshit. Canon was also completely disregarded by the incompetent writing team. Hashtag fire Joby Harold, hashtag fire Pablo Hidalgo, hashtag sell Star Wars. I am growing stronger in the dark side every day, but I need more knights. Become a knight, subscribe to the channel, join the Knights of Melvin Discord, help plot to take down Disney and all their shills.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.